Now let's meet someone who has some excellent suggestions for the ladies in our audience.
Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is Mary Conroy.
Number 2.
My name is Mary Conroy.
Number 3.
My name is Mary Conroy.
Now, the subject is, what can a woman do if she is attacked on the street? And Mary Conroy's advice goes like this. I'm Mary Conroy. I'm a professor in physical education at a large university. I specialize in self-defense for women. It is my firm conviction that females who don't prepare themselves for trouble, both psychologically and physically, are contributing to their own anxiety syndrome. In my course, I teach them how to wriggle out of situations, explaining why, for example, a cry of fire, fire is more effective than a cry for help. I also spell out how to effectively resist an attacker. For instance, did you know that the best weapon every woman has is her legs? And when a gal knows a little karate, kung fu, and just plain defensive fighting, she can hold her own anywhere. Later on in the program, I will demonstrate exactly what I mean. Signed, Mary Conroy. Let's begin the cross-examining, please, with Nipsey Russell.
Number 1, I agree that a woman's best weapons are her legs, whether she's being amorous or whether she's defending herself. But how did you mean that?
Well, I mean, first of all, that a woman's legs, it's the longest part of her body. It's also the part of her body that she can use without getting in the fist range of a man, which you want to avoid at all costs.
I see. Number 2, would you advise a woman to resort to her physical skills when accosted on the streets by a mugger?
After she has tried other methods of, avoiding the situation.
I see. Number 3, do you have a method against weapons?
Yes.
As well as the hands?
It would depend upon the weapon and the situation.
Why would fire be more effective to scream than help?
People obviously don't like to get involved with situations of danger. And if they think someone's house is on fire, they will get involved. If they think someone is going to be attacked, they won't.
Number 2.
And that buzzer takes us to Kitty, please.
Well, number 1, what good is it to yell fire if you're alone in your apartment with a fellow who's attacking you?
Well, if you yell loudly enough, someone
come?
might hear, yes.
Number 1, where do you teach physical education? Number 1.
Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. Yes, I teach it at Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh.
And number 2, how do you wriggle out of a situation?
Well, there are all various methods depending on what type of a situation you're into.
Well, I mean, if it's not a physical situation. You say you have to prepare yourself psychologically, too.
Oh, you have to avoid situations. If you see problems coming on, you have to defend against them before they even take place.
Oh, I see.
That's anticipating danger.
And number 3...
Sorry, Kitty, Bill Collins up.
Number 3, I'm concerned about the possibility of overtraining along these lines. I mean, for instance, a girl gets so overtrained that her husband comes home and says, "Good evening, dear," and she kicks him in a briefcase or something like that. Seriously, though, doesn't this make the girls a little bit too responsive to, like, say, a friendly masher? Which doesn't concern me anymore, but there are those coming up behind me, number 3. If you care to comment on that, I'd be deeply appreciative.
One of the things that I teach is when not to attack. You're right. It's important to know when not to attack.
Number 3, you are a great educator, and it's a pleasure to meet you. Number 2, is there much of a requirement for, is there much of a response to your course?
Oh, definitely.
How many students do you have, number 2?
I have a class of about 25 per group.
And number 1, how many do you have?
I have about 5 classes of 25, and I also teach separate classes outside of the university.
And number 3, how many in your class?
About 20 to 25, and I also give clinics.
And we have got a buzzer. It's going to take us to Sherry.
Number 1, suppose you're mugged, and here in New York City that means they've got you around the neck. What do you do to break that hold?
You you release the little finger. That's one of the most vulnerable parts of a man's body. When he has you around the neck. You release his little finger, and then you use foot kicks, you kick with your foot, and you continue doing whatever you're doing until you can, hurt him in some way or escape yourself.
Number 3, do you ever go for the eyes?
Absolutely.
With what?
Your fingers and your thumbs.
Number 3, suppose somebody has a knife on you. Would you advise them to try anything?
Well, first I advise a student to talk her way out of the situation, and this is possible. Offer him money, your body, whatever, if you can talk him out of it. If you can't, then yes, you have to fight.
Number 2, have you ever been attacked?
Yes.
What a place to stop.
We have the Avon lady calling here, a loud bell, and it's going to mean you got to make up your mind, friends. What do you think? Is it number 1? Wow. Or is it number 2? Or is it number 3? And Nipsey, if you have any opinions, we'd like to see what you've marked down on your card and why you did so.
I have lots of opinions, and I'd also like to tell you which one I think it is. I went for number 3. She is beautiful enough to have had the occasion to defend herself many times, and I think she would have gained the experience.
Well, very well. You got a 3 showing in Kitty.
Oh, well, they're all pretty enough to have been well, I won't say that, no, because that might be bad luck. They're all pretty, period. I voted for number 1 because I think she's the real one.
That's good enough reason. Got a 3 and a 1. Bill Cullen.
Hey, you know what? At the very last, I have my mind all made up, but at the very last minute, number 3 said, if a fella comes to attack you, offer him either money or your body. And that's 2 out of 3 of the things he's after anyway. But I'd already marked my ballot, so I voted for number 3.
All righty, so we got 2 bunts down at that end, and Sherry, how you gonna go?
Well, number 1 talked about the most vulnerable part of a man's body being his little finger. I didn't know that, so I'm voting for you.
Well, it's split on the ends. The votes are in. Will the real Mary Conroy please stand up?
Yeah, but he...
Mary! Thank you, Mary. We'll be back to you in a moment. I got a couple of questions I want to ask you. We're going to have a demonstration coming up, but first let's find out about your imposters. Number 1, please. What is your real name and what do you do, number 1?
My name is Martha Fontaine. I'm a legal secretary from Jackson, Mississippi.
Oh, nice to have you here. Number 2, we want to know about you, too.
My name is Florence McGowan, and I'm a manager at the Russell Taylor Division of Consolidated Foods Corporation.
Mary, if somebody goes to snatch your purse, do you defend against that, or?
No. Always give him money. Anything that you own can be repurchased, but your life and your health cannot. So the only time you really defend yourself is when your life or health is in danger.
I see. Well, now, I understand you've written a book on this subject, true?
Yes, I have. It will be out with McGraw-Hill very shortly.
And what's it called?
Personal Defense for Women.
That's simple enough.
It is indeed.
Well, now, Mary has some very simple but very effective techniques that she suggests to ward off would-be attackers. Of course, you cannot have a muggy without having a mugger. And so we have hired, for this occasion, a mugger. He is actually one of New York's television's most hard-working stuntmen, Peter Hock, and he's going to help Mary with a short demonstration. And so, Mary, here she is just out for a stroll. Peter Hock, the mugger.
My son, the mother.
Boy, Peter had a short career there, didn't he? He had a
I
short
want to tell
career.
you, that'll do it every time. Now, that was so fast that we could hardly follow the moves. Mary, would you and Peter do the same thing in slow motion for us?
Certainly. I'm walking down the street.
Yeah.
A man grabs me around the throat.
Around the throat.
Now, I do indeed dislocate the little finger, as was stated before, to release the choke.
Yeah.
At the same time, I dislocate the knee with a rear kick.
Yeah.
Then I come into the eyes with my fingers, kick in the groin, and kick in the head, and then I turn around and run as fast as I
Peter, what a lucky fellow you were to get a great job like this. Show us another one, Mary.
All right. If I were attacked from the front,
Yeah.
for example, he grabs my throat this way, the action is up, down, out, and then kick, and then run again.
One again. All right, let's give us...
I think after that first kick, those last two were unnecessary.
Unnecessary roughness. Now, Mary, give it one more go, you and Peter. What is this one?
Okay, for example, this one in slow motion. He grabs your throat. You break the hold with your hands coming up powerfully
And
this
chop
way.
him
At the
down.
same time, knee into the groin. Come down on the nose, up and under. And he's off.
Well, Mary, I want to thank you very much.
Where are you going?
Peter, thank you, and thank you, contestants, all for being with us.
This is Bill Wendell speaking for To Tell the Truth, a Mark Goodson, Bill Conlon production.